one day, when Hamlet is going on a Heathrow Airport, he pulls him inside the cubicle. He read it in 3 hours. Yes, I remember. It was.
One chance I got to work with him, and that's not happening. Spoke to me about Khufiya. I was just happy that he offered me something.
He beautifully plants a seed, in your head. But that seed will then take shape in the scene.
तो तबू ने जब बोला वामिका ने कट होने के बाद मुझसे बोला she took my name, she called my name.
Rolexes and with his
Armani suit, single malt.
वो भी कमीनापन था, मतलब कि भाई.
Vishal, Vamika, Ali, welcome to the Hindu.
Thank you.
Vishal, first off, you very interestingly revealed in a recent interview that when you had first adapted Hamlet with the writer Stephen Walter, you had imagined it as an espionage story set in the R&AW. Can you talk to us about that idea, and did that pave the way for Khufiya?
In a way, yeah, because I was planning, from the day one, I became director, ये इतना juicy genre है ना, espionage thriller. And I have been a fan of Jean Le Carre and Hitchcock की film है Notorious.
Yes.
My favorite film.
Mine too, actually.
Oh, such a beautiful film. And my film in spirit is very close to Notorious.
Yeah, especially with the emotions. And Hitchcock usually doesn't show emotions that much. Yeah, but usme the love story is on the front.
Yeah. And the way the wife is planted, उसमें बहुत अच्छा था. So I have been, thinking of making an espionage for a long time. So Steve Walter, he's a very good friend and very good writer. So we started working.
Brother of Tom Walter.
Tom Walter, yeah, cousin. So, he brought out this because my whole thing in Shakespeare plays remains that, the basic, एक चीज़ उसमें crack होनी चाहिए, जैसे witches crack हुई, जैसे मूर crack हुआ उसमें ओमकारा में, ऐसे इसमें कि घोस्ट क्या है? तो मेरा सिर्फ यही सवाल रहता था जिसके साथ में बात करता कि व्हाट इज द घोस्ट, बिकॉज घोस्ट मुझे नहीं करना था कि एक स्पिरिट आके बोल गई कि तुम्हारे अंकल ने मुझे मारा है. आई वांटेड द पैरेलल ऑफ द घोस्ट. तो वो स्टीव इतना अच्छा करके लाया था कि R&AW, जो हेमलेट्स फादर इज इन R&AW एंड अंकल इज आल्सो इन R&AW. अंकल implicates father, so father has to leave the country, run away and defect to some other country, and nobody knows where he is. And one day, when Hamlet is going on a Heathrow Airport, he pulls him inside the cubicle, and we see that his father is living in a ghost identity. And he has taken a different, he is given a different identity, different name, and he says you're go and take my revenge from your uncle.
Nice.
So I thought it was a very fascinating plot for Hamlet. So, but when I showed it to Guldar Sahab, so he said, yeah, it's very nice, but it's such a usual, like a CIA American thriller, they make 250 films every year. Where is the tragedy of Hamlet? So that's how, but I left that idea. But I have been, like everyone else, we are all fascinated by, spies and R&AW. When somebody showed me the R&AW building in Delhi, I was fascinated to see. It's like a nameless building, like a cold white building standing in the middle of New Delhi. So then I made friends with a lot of R&AW people, and that's how I started.
I'll come to the film, but for me, one of the big pleasures of watching Khufiya is also see this cross section of great, talented actors that you worked throughout your career. Like at one end, you obviously have Tabu and Ashish Vidyarthi working. Vamika has been doing stunning work one after the other, actually, with you. Ali is doing it for the first time, but has proved his mettle in so many good films. You guys tell me, how was it to get on board with Khufiya with him? And I'll start with Ali.
It was very fascinating, the idea already. And then sir, I remember, called me on the phone and he sent me the script. And I didn't waste any time. I said...
Yeah, he read it in 3 hours. Yes, I remember.
I was like, मैंने phone रखा and I opened my... I was like, screw this, मैंने cancel किया. Even though I don't know if I might have blurted it out, but I think I'd said yes before that only. I said, हाँ sir, बिल्कुल. So then, but yeah, it's been a very, very interesting journey. Learning a lot of things I've learned.
but he contributed a lot, you know. He brought in a perspective which was there missing in from that character
Okay.
Well, this was my first project that I worked on with Vishal Singh.
Chronological. Yeah.
So I was really happy. I was really excited that I'll finally get to work with him. We were supposed to do another series for Netflix. That could have been our first, but that didn't happen. So I was like, oh shit. One chance I got to work with him, and that's not happening. So when he spoke to me about Khufiya, I was just happy that he offered me something.
Right.
So yeah.
Right. Is there a specific, let's say, directorial quirk or something in his approach that you guys noticed that people might not know about, you know, in how he directs scenes or goes about his job?
I think I've said this somewhere before, but now he's here, I shouldn't say this.
Please.
He beautifully plants a seed, you know, in your head, and so you'll probably stay with the same lines in the script or whatever, but that seed will then take shape in the scene. That for me is very fascinating. Some things will come and say कि यार ये तुम्हें, you know, ये ऐसे, just keep this in mind, and like that in the hospital scene आपने मेरे साथ किया था, ये आए उन्होंने कहा तुम गाली दे दो, मैंने कहा गाली, मैंने विशाल जी की फिल्म में गाली, तो कहने लगे नहीं तू बस दिमाग में सोच के लाइन बोल देना. The whole the tonality changed of the line. छोटी सी बात है. I thought somebody really screwed with my head, and it's very rare. मैं सब सोच के जाता हूँ, but you know then he suddenly shows you कि नहीं बेटा तुम अभी नए हो. So yeah.
You have something?
विशाल सर ना आई फील कि बहुत ही ना एम्पैथेटिक इंसान है, एंड आई थिंक एम्पैथी मेक्स यू वेरी अंडरस्टैंडिंग. तो वो मुझे रियल लाइफ में भी ना बहुत एम्पैथेटिक और अंडरस्टैंडिंग लगते हैं, एंड आई थिंक दैट्स हाउ ही जस्ट अंडरस्टैंड्स कैरेक्टर्स बेटर. यू नो, तो व्हेन आई एम looking at my character from one point of view, तो इनका जो perspective होता है वो अलग होता है, obviously because of experience and the kind of person he is.
Building on a point Vishal made, like we broadly, I'm generalizing here, but we broadly see two tonalities of spy films. One is of course the action heavy, more MI and James Bond kind of way. Then is someone like John Le Carre, you know, the more dense and moody and detailed spy film, and we have not had something like that in India until Khufiya came around. Vishal, tell me about this is of course based on a book by Amar Bhushan, Escape to Nowhere, but knowing you as a filmmaker, what more did you have to research and get into to figure out how agencies work, how operatives work, you know, how missions are carried out?
So, you know, I interacted with Amar Bhushan ji a lot, and besides this book, you know, he had he had one more book which I got him the you know, publisher for that. So I had read a lot of his, you know, material, and I used to probe him that where was this, you have fictionalized this, was this Nepal, you know, who was this guy, what's his fictional name. So I had worked with him a lot, but I think his book, what his book offered was a very detailed you know, process, the way intelligence agencies, especially Indian agencies work. So for me the fascination thing in this is in our world of spies was कि R&AW की एक बस चलती है, जैसे वो धौलक वहाँ से चलेगी, सबको पिक करते हुए जाएगी, और सब लोग टिफिन लेके एक, you know, एक पॉइंट पर खड़े होंगे, वो अंदर घुसेंगे, बैग लेके बैठेंगे, उनको ऑफिस उतारेगी, फिर ऐसे सबको शाम को 6 बजे छोड़ती हुई चली जाएगी. देयर इज नथिंग कि वो चश्मा लगा के, you know, कोई एक बाइक पर आ रहा है या कार में जा रहा है, एंड यू नो उनको जैसे अगर किसी एसेट को पैसे देने, बहुत जगह जिक्र था उनकी और कहानियों में कि जैसे नेपाल में एक एसेट को वॉशिंग मशीन चाहिए थी, वो पीछे पड़ा हुआ है कि मुझे वॉशिंग मशीन चाहिए, तो अब यहाँ का जो अकाउंटेंट है वो पास नहीं कर रहा है बिल वॉशिंग मशीन का. सो दीज काइंड ऑफ फनी थिंग्स, यू नो, जो कि मैं इसमें नहीं इनकॉर्पोरेट कर पाया, बट आई वांटेड टू डू दैट. बट आई थिंक व्हाट नेटफ्लिक्स इज एक्साइटेड अबाउट, दैट मेक Khufiya universe and a franchise. So in that I want to do all these things, you know, the human side of
Correct.
the spies.
On that note, I loved how Indian the film still is. Like, दो लोग मदर डेयरी के कियोस्क में छुपे हुए हैं, you know, निहारी बन रही है, things like that. You know, it makes it very Indian. Vamika scenes are lovely. Like, you know, when you're listening to old songs and just in the house. Did you guys feel it? It was still very much an Indian story as he was directing it.
I mean, हम तो इंडियन हैं ना, तो नॉर्मली लगेगा ना. कोई जो बाहर रहता होगा उसको लगेगा कि बड़ा इंडियन है. हमारे लिए तो क्या ये बहुत सही है, normal.
Right.
And that was the whole idea to actually to make it Indian, you know, make it feel Indian. This was the detailing in the book. और जो कि मेरा मेन रीजन था फिल्म बनाने का कि जब उन्होंने उसके घर को बक करना था तो सामने मदर डेयरी के बूथ टेक ओवर कर लिया. अब R&AW ऑफिसर्स, यू नो, दे आर सेलिंग दूध एंड यू नो मक्खन पनीर, और पीछे उन्होंने कंट्रोल रूम बनाया हुआ. इट इज सच अ फैसिनेटिंग कि घर को जाके एक और डिटेलिंग थी उसके अंदर कि उसमें जो घर में जो बाई काम करती थी उसका जिससे अफेयर था, ये उन्होंने उस बंदे को पकड़ा कि तू उसे 3 घंटे पिक्चर दिखाने के लिए लेके जा. तो वो जब पिक्चर दिखाने ले गए तब जाके उन्होंने पीछे पूरा घर बक किया था. So all those details, you know, they are not there in the film, but these things they fascinated me, you know, कि ये हमने अपने कल्चर में कभी देखा ही नहीं है कि you know इस तरह की स्पाई फिल्म्स की. Or we don't think that we are capable, our spies are capable of doing this also.
Right. Ari, on that note, it's a funny coincidence. In the same year, you played an ISI agent and a RAW agent, and not very trusty people for either scenario, right?
But totally different,
Yeah.
two ends of the spectrum.
Correct.
Because that was a hardcore action film,
Right,
you know,
right.
and like you said, the other kind of the spy thriller.
Right.
So yeah, it was a great, you know,
Right.
great to be part of. For me, they're totally different films.
In the book, Amar Bhushan describes your character Ravi as fishy, mediocre, and suspiciously withdrawn.
Yeah.
And when I was watching your performance, you're getting all those 3 adjectives very correctly. Right?
I remember doing a Zoom call with him.
हाँ.
तो उस पे बड़ी चीज़ें उन्होंने बताई कि there was an effort in even you know trying to be sort of this mediocrity and try, but again he couldn't hold himself, you know, with his Rolexes and with his
Armani suit, single malt.
तो वो भी कमीनापन था, मतलब कि भाई कहीं तो, you know, so yeah, that was fun to dabble with, you know. मेरी बस एक चीज़ रह गई थी कि वो which I think मुझे खटकती रही थी कि वो हाथ, घड़ी का हाथ गलत था वो, which consciously I think we then said कि नहीं, you know, we keep it separate from.
Both of you, how was it like, you know, doing a scene with Tabu and Tabu in a Vishal Bhardwaj film? And that's something else.
It's Tabu's world and we're just living in it.
Nicely.
Literally.
So I'll tell you one scene. So where, you know, so where Tabu has to hide behind the door, and Vamika was to, so there was a queue was to happen, and it was first 2-3 days. So Tabu को मैंने बोला तुम वामिका का नाम ले लेना, तब तक ये दोनों का होने था, इतना ज़्यादा इंटरेक्शन नहीं होता ऐसे रीडिंग वगैरह में, तो कि तुम वामिका बोलना तो वामिका आ जाएगी, बिकॉज आई वाज नॉट एबल टू सी वामिका फ्रॉम द पॉइंट वेयर टबू वाज स्टैंडिंग. तो टबू ने जब बोला वामिका, वामिका ने कट होने के बाद मुझसे आगे बोला, यू नो शी टुक माय नेम, शी कॉल्ड माय नेम.
Oh God.
I'll tell you, मेरा फर्स्ट सीन जो उनके साथ था वो था जब ऑटो में मुझे वो रखते हैं और बारिश हो रही है एंड ब्लड और ये वो, तो रिहर्सल कर रहे थे. तो रिहर्सल में ऑब्वियसली एक्टिंग तो करनी है ना, क्योंकि लेकर आ रहे हैं और ये सब. रिहर्सल नहीं, पहला टेक था. तो वो लेके आते हैं, मुझे ऑटो में रखते हैं और मैं तबू जी की बाहों में. कट हो गया, ऑटो रुक गया, कट हो गया, मैंने अपनी आंखें नहीं खोली. I'm not letting this
And
moment.
Tabu was flushed, you know, blushing.
You have limited scenes, but still.
Very limited, yeah. मैं तो और one of the few scenes में सब उल्टा हो गया यार, गला दबा दिया था. Suddenly in the middle of the scene, she's supposed to say Ravi. She said no, in the middle she started saying Ravi. That's the character's name. Then I think she also midway realized कि नहीं ये तो नहीं बोलना चाहिए, scene चालू है. Then she said Ali हाथ हटाओ, गला दब रहा है. हमने कहा shit, मैंने क्या कर दिया. In my head ऐसे पूरी love story पे कीड़ा मैंने पानी फेर दिया है, मतलब मैंने कहा, यार ये गए यार आज.
So yeah.
But it was sweet. It was fun. Good to work with.
Right. Vishal, now that Netflix loves you all over again, will you get the VFX budget that you needed to do Midnight's Children, and will it happen?
I hope Netflix is listening to this, or yeah, I think it's I still feel pain for that, because that was one of my best written work ever.
Right.
I thought एक तो वैसे भी वो रुश्दी साहब का जो नॉवल है बहुत अच्छा है, पर इतना कॉम्प्लिकेटेड नॉवल है वो, इतना मुश्किल नॉवल है, और उसको स्क्रीन के लिए अडेप्ट करना.
But it's very you, like it's very for you. When I read the novel, I was like, yeah, मतलब it makes sense that you do it. Like,
yeah, and I was very excited. I hope they bring back the budget.
right.
And
You're supposed to do Parvati, I guess.
yeah.
Great. I'll end with this. Guys, talk to me a bit about the atmospherics of Khufiya, because that's what I really enjoyed, and he is big on atmosphere. Whenever, like, if a film is set in Kashmir, you'll feel Kashmir in the film. How for actors especially, how is the feeling of? Is it all later when you see the film? Or is it all that moodiness comes across later, or maybe it's different on set, or is there a sense of moodiness on set?
Totally, there's a total sense of the mood, and that's built into the script as well. I think that really, I never want to discount that. Of course, everything else happens after, and even physically, matlab, being in such environments, matlab, Dakota wala to pura.
Yeah.
We were literally in minus 15-20 degrees in Canada, to North America. So yeah, it was totally adding to it. The layers were real,
Right.
and they were required. And even first half of the film, matlab, yeah, it was. Yeah.
मैं दिल्ली कभी रही नहीं हूँ, ना ही ज़्यादा जाती हूँ, पर ये फिल्म शूट करने के लिए हम 1 महीना दिल्ली में रहे, तो पूरा दिल्ली वाला फील आ गया था मुझे वहाँ पे शूट करते हुए. प्लस जब हम शूट भी करते थे ना, द प्रोडक्शन डिज़ाइन, वो घर,
Right.
वो इतना मुझे
The door is a character almost, like उसके around those scenes है. Including a lovely bit that you have with the door. Just to shut it, like when you go back
when
to
you shut it with a bump.
Oh, that
ठुमका.
एंड वो उसके पीछे की किचन के पीछे वाली जगह और जो घर में चीज़ें थी, वो इतना मुझे बहुत ऐसे लगा कि हाँ ये घर है मेरा. जैसे कई बार बहुत ही आर्टिफिशियल और वैसे हो जाता है, लेकिन इट जस्ट वो बहुत ही खूबसूरत था. प्लस अगर वो सीन आपने देखा होगा जहाँ पे इसे पता चल जाता है कि स्पाई कर रहे हैं लोग इस पे, तो वो जो लाइटिंग, आई रिमेम्बर जब आई एंटर्ड एंड आई वाज लाइक आई कुड फील दैट ओके, वो पूरा मूड आ रहा है उस सीन का, वो सिचुएशन का. तो हाँ, आई थिंक या
Tasadduq shot the film?
No, Tasadduq's he was Tasadduq's assistant once in Kamine.
I see.
Farhad.
I see.
So he was the first assistant in Kamine, and then he went to do AFI, where Tasadduq is from. So I met Farhad after a long time, and I came to know that Farhad, and he shifted to LA. And as it is, I love Farhad's work, and he's such a nice guy. And the way he has shot this film, he shot Kutte. He was shooting both our films, Asman and my film both. So and he's very good DOP.
He's very good.
Yeah.
Wow.
Thank you so much, guys. I look forward, now that you mentioned that there might be a Khufiya verse, I'm looking forward for that now.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
Thank
All the best
you.
for Khufiya, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you, Shilaji.
Thank you.